Hi, hi. Okay, we see attendees. Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody is doing well today. All right. Just a quick one. All right. So thank you everybody for joining us. Ethan here from InvestingNote, right? Okay, so tonight's webinar is pretty special. It's 2 hours and it's a masterclass, right? Okay, just give us another 1-2 minutes for more people to join in. Okay. Right. And of course, today's speaker, or should I say teacher, right? It's Binni. Binni, you can say hi.
Hi, everyone. We just wait for them to come in, right? And remember to take your dinner because I'm known to not to give any breaks.
Yeah, she's... Yep. People are coming in. Let's just wait 1 more minute, right? Binni, you can try to share your screen if you want to.
Can.
Awesome. Let's just wait 1 more minute before we start the webinar proper. Hope everybody is having a great day. It's been a rainy day. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Good evening, everybody. Ethan here from InvestingNote. Okay. So today's webinar is slightly different, right? So this is the first time we're conducting this masterclass, right? So a trading masterclass, you would expect, more in-depth insights and also some things that you can really have takeaways to apply to your trading. I think I'll let Binni to share with you in detail what she's gonna teach you guys in this masterclass. And just one thing to note, the masterclass is actually a span of 4 hours. Today will be 2 hours from 7 all the way to 9. Then on the 11th of November, right, there'll be another 2 hours, 7 to 9 again. All right. So for the registration for the 11th of November one, you guys do not have to worry. We'll create another Zoom webinar link and we'll send you accordingly as per your email. All right. So I think without further ado, Binni, time is yours.
Okay, thanks a lot, Ethan. Nice to see you guys. Just a bit of a schedule here. We're probably going to end at 9, but if there should be an overrun, then it's about 9:05 to about 9:10. Okay. There will be recording, and then there's this chat function here in this Zoom. All right, so we'll be communicating via the chat function. All right, so with this, I'm just going to take off my earpiece. Okay, so I won't be able to hear whatever they're going to say. Okay, now have you had your dinner yet? Hi, Raymond. I saw you just now. So yeah, eating. Okay. All right, so I just came from another session. Just telling Ethan, and then I usually don't eat before my session. Okay, so we're gonna start. I'm known to jam my session pack, right, with many things. Okay, so I will take you through slowly, one by one. All right, and then unfortunately, because there's many things to cover, all right, so later on you will need to fill in the form, and then you can watch some videos. Okay. All right, so disclaimer. So today is purely educational. It is not no investment advice, right? So I do my best to impart what I like to impart today, right? Okay, so just a little bit of myself. My specialty or my interest is to do automated or semi-automated trading. So therefore, a lot of my methods are more towards the mathematical based system. Okay, while system is a huge word, whatever that I'm going to introduce here does not require you to purchase anything. All right, and it is not a black box. Everything would be told to you. Okay, now on the personal front, actually I just came from my forex class. Okay, then you must be thinking that, hey, look, how come you are doing so many things? How can you do so many things? In the morning, you must exercise. At night, I will always tell my students, at night at 10:30, I need to sleep already. How can you do so many things, right? When you are doing the stocks in the morning, you're doing the futures in the morning, and then after that, you will head to the Forex, and then you do the indexes. Okay, that's because a lot of my trading are more towards the semi-automation, which means including looking at the charts. Okay, most of the time, I don't really need to draw anything. And with this idea, this is what I'm going to impart to you. Because when we take a look into, let's say, the Hong Kong stocks, definitely they are a huge list, a long, huge list. All right. How are we able to scan through so many things, all right, so many opportunities in a short time? Okay, so that's the key thing here. Now, the second thing, of course, is to talk about the use of DLC. I'm not sure whether you are using DLC. What I like to do is that I like to come in from not from the issuer point. Okay, I like to come in from the trader's point, like you are using DLC, I'm using DLC, or how to really use DLC to your advantage. Okay, so that's the two major things that I'm going to cover today. All right. Okay, so first session, I'm going to talk about this concept, which is called levels, support and resistance levels, with a very different approach. Okay, it's called Autobox. This is something that I created. It's an idea, it's an analytical framework. Right, so this is being taught in my own class, my own course, right? But because this is a special course, I want to bring it to you so that you also know how to use it. Okay, then next is that when we look at Hong Kong stocks, for example, today is specific to Hong Kong stocks, right? The DLC I'm covering will also be based on Hong Kong underlying, all right? No Singapore underlying here. So more important, if you look at the characteristic of Hong Kong stock and why many people love the Hong Kong market, is because when it moves, right, it can move a lot. Okay, it is not that boring in comparison to the Singapore market. I'm not saying that Singapore market is boring, but in comparison. So momentum is very important. So I want to introduce a tool, all right? It might seem a little bit difficult. It's called linear regression, but I think that you heard of that, okay? Because in this Python programming, in the machine learning, the regression model, it's very, very popular. But as retailer, we can easily use it to our advantage. All right, then next is how do you choose DLC? Right, a lot of time you can read that, but then I think that there's a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of things that's not really known. So I want to bring this out, and I want to start this $1,000 challenge. All right, why is that so? Because I like to do live. Okay, so including that all my training with my students, I like to show them what's live. So I want to show it to you how to do it, but then I don't have that live session with me at 7 o'clock. All right, so I started this $1,000 challenge to use $1,000 to buy into DLCs, and we're going to see what's the outcome. That means that 1 month later, what's the outcome in terms of dollar and percent return. Okay, so you can use this to help you understand, all right, how you can use DLC to your advantage. Okay. So this $1,000 is real money, not fake money, because DLC doesn't have demo account. Okay, now part 2 would touch more into this momentum trading, because what we wanted is that explosive type of trades. Okay, so we're going to talk about momentum trading, and we're going to talk about the profit and loss, and then we're going to review in the DLC. So you need to attend part 2 to have that comprehensive understanding. That means by doing part 1, is not enough. Okay, you need to follow up with part 2. Okay, all right, so let's go on. Now, in any case, if you do have questions, ask me at the chat box. At times I will pause and answer your question. Okay, but I mean I will pause at a section that I want to stop. All right, okay, if I don't answer all your questions, then let me know. All right, I will give you my contact, then you ask me again, because sometimes I will miss out certain questions. Okay, so the assumption is this, right? Because this course is assumed that you have certain knowledge. So therefore, I will assume that you have simple, basic understanding about trend, support, resistance. Okay, so this is very important in any form of trading. So I will do a bit of a revision for you. Okay, but in case you need to know more in detail, how to understand trend, how to know support resistance, how to do some chart patterns, etc. You can attend this course here, which is something that I've designed, and then it's a free course. Okay, you don't need to pay any money for that. Okay, but you can also read that in the open source, meaning that you can just go to some open source to look at. Sorry, I just sent it to everyone and not to the host and the panelists. Okay, let me just send that again. I'm going to send you the link to the course, all right, so that you can use this chance to just understand a little bit more. Okay, send it to you already. And we're going to use TradingView as the charting platform. However, you are not required to pay for it. So nothing paid here. Everything is free, in fact, right? Okay. Now, so the first one is Autobox, which before we cover that, I'm just going to do a bit of revision in terms of trend. Now, let's take a look at this chart here, which is BYD. Can anybody know, let me know what's the overall trend here, overall trend, up or down? You can let me know at the chat box. Okay, we can see very clearly, all right, that this is an up. And number two is that what I need you to notice is that this is a weekly chart, meaning that when we take a look at the chart, take a look at this left-hand side here, not only the code, but to know the time frame of the chart. So this is a weekly chart, and the weekly chart is showing some historical prices of BYD and the current price right now, and the trend is up. Okay, so that's important. Now, however, take a look into this place here, the one that I highlighted. All right. Now, while the trend is up, we've also understand that during the April this year or somewhere in March, right, BYD has been dropping quite drastically. Okay, so for those people who bought here, for example, you would know that your stocks BYD moved from $260 average to a low price of about $150. Okay, while we said that the trend is up, how come, all right, it can still move down? Okay, so this has to do with the interaction of different time frames. So therefore, when we talk about looking at charts, and especially in trading, right, to move through the multiple time frame is tough. Okay, because if I take a look into the box here, and right now I'm in the day chart. So day chart means that, you know, every week has 5 days. Okay, just now the week was a condensed information, but this time around we are going to take a look at the day, and you realize that the day is actually down. So without looking at this, which is your insight, right? Some people might be telling me that, hey, BYD at this point of time was down. Okay, why is that so? Because based on a very simplified trend understanding of trend, then this would be a high, a low, a lower high, for example, a lower low, all right, lower high, and a lower low. So that's literally downtrend. Okay. Now, so this is how we define trend. So trend can happen, for example, in a week, all right? It can seem up, okay, but then if you take a look at the day, it can be down. Okay, so how do you reconcile these two information here? Okay, so that's also the objective of the course. All right. Now, next, as a revision, let's talk about support and resistance. Okay. Now, support and resistance, some people use horizontal levels to draw. Okay, so for example, I've mapped in some horizontal levels here, like this is a low, all right, and then this low here is now acting as a resistance. Okay, so I have this one was a previous support. Right now it's coming as a resistance. Okay, some people might also want to use trend line. Trend line, for example, the green line that I've drawn in here. So this is the green line. All right, then you map in some of the points and then you connect, and then, for example, here becomes a support. So there are other ways to draw support. Like some people might be looking at some pivot points or some Ichimoku, etc., etc. There's so many things, okay? But what is the problem with support and resistance is that when after it happened, it becomes very clear. Okay, before it even happened, that means that when you are trading or when you're looking at the stock itself, then it becomes not easy to spot. Okay, you can't understand where is that level that's important to you. Okay, so these are very important, especially for new learners of charting, all right, and also even for seasoned traders. okay? Because then at one point, sometimes they get emotionally disturbed, right? They might not be able to find all these levels very properly, okay? So with this, all right, I'm introducing a concept, right, which is designed by our team, which is called Autobox. So what we do is that we no longer look at price, all right, as a whole. What we do is that we box it up and we segment it. So the purpose, one of the purpose of doing so is to inspect the support and resistance levels, okay, meaning that by boxing up prices, all right, using time, because time is the only thing that's constant in a chart, whether you are looking at stock A or B or Forex chart, or whether you are looking at US, Singapore, Hong Kong stocks, right? Time is constant. So we have month, we have week, we have days, and then we have intraday time frame. All right. So what we do is that we box the prices into time. That means we say that, okay, now this price movement here belongs to this particular month. Okay. Now in a year, there are 12 months. All right. In a month, there are either 4 to 5 weeks. And in a week, there will be 5 days of trading days. Okay. Minus away the public holiday. All right. So with this, then we're going to bring in some consistency. Okay. So therefore, what you can do is you can go into TradingView. You can pull out this indicator that's free of charge. It is a built-in indicator, right? And you don't need, you don't need to pay for the paid version of TradingView. Okay. You just use the free version. Okay. Just have to register and then use a free version. All right. So this indicator here is called multi-time period chart. So what I did, right, is that I recorded a video, okay, because I don't have time to cover the setup for this one. What I did is I recorded a video, right, so that you can follow the video and do the setting, right, according to what is being required. Okay, so later I'll give you the link to that video. Okay, so there are a few things. What is important is that we want the time frame to be 1 month, because we want to be able to see the support resistance very clearly, all right, using a month high or month low. The objective is that in all my system that I've designed, all right, I wanted to make sure it's very clear. I wanted to make sure that when you look at the support resistance, it can happen in 3 seconds. Okay, because sometimes we spend a lot of time to go and draw all the levels, right? Then after you draw the levels, then you get very confused. I don't want this to happen. Okay, I want it very systematic, all right, very fast, and then it's also automated. All right, so later you can download the link to the video. I'm going to show it to you later. Where is it? Okay, so this is the outcome, all right, of putting in the boxes inside, which is the multi-time period charts inside here. So what I did is that this is the week chart, and I boxed them up. Okay, so how to understand this? Okay, first we're going to understand by using the boxes, we're going to understand support resistance concept. Okay, so for example, when you have a support, okay, let's say if this is my support, this would be a floor. Okay, floor means that likely price might be rebounding from here to move up. So a support will give us a possible location for a buy. Okay, now next we're going to have a resistance. All right, now the resistance is like your ceiling. Therefore, the resistance would be giving us a possible area or level for a sell. All right, so with Autobox concept, which is this multi-time period chart you're going to see here, we can easily label a support resistance, okay, by saying that, okay, there seems to be some resistance here based on a month high or some months high, okay, and then this resistance in turn becomes a support because it was also a month low. All right, so we can explain that, we can tell a story. A month high resistance is right now a month low, so it becomes visually very appealing. Okay, let me just take you through again. Let's take a look at this cluster here. All right, so definitely you will see something, okay, because then we can see that the boxes are stacking up, all right, becoming together like this, like this, like this, and like this. Let me just change the pen of the color. Okay, so like this, like this, like this. Okay, so we can easily identify that this was a previous support, okay, but has been broken, and right now it might become a resistance. Okay, so that's how we use the boxes. Okay, it becomes very clear to say that's a low here. That was a previous low. Okay, what's that low? It was a month low. Okay, which month low? It was a July to September low, around October. Okay, and right now it might become a resistance because of the concept of a previous support becoming a resistance. Okay, so you box it up. When you box it up, things becomes very clear. All right, so I'm going to continue with it. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. So I've focused on the one that I also box up with dotted dash lines. Okay, so for example, by looking at it, you know that clearly, easily, I'll be able to spot possible support and resistance for 10 cents. All right, so for example, here would be a possible level to consider. Why was that? Because that was a previous month support becoming a resistance. And if you look slightly a little bit further, then you know that, hey, look, all right, this place was also some month high. Okay, all right, okay. Then if you take a look at this place here, so that's also some month low, all right, resulting in a possible high here. Okay. All right, now let's continue on. All right, same thing I've highlighted here. So that was a possible low, but if you can look just slightly higher a little bit, right? Okay, this place here was some month high. Okay, so that was a possible level as well. And if you look left, then you can see, okay, some of the month high and some of the month low. Okay, so with this, we created certain levels for 10 cents. Okay, the levels that we created will be somewhere around here. Okay, so that's one level here. All right, then the other levels would be here. Okay, because that was a month low. All right, and some month high. Okay, and of course, we also created another level here. So that's a month low. All right, month low, and then potentially leading to a possible resistance right now. Okay, so with this, then we can deduce, okay, 10 cents might have a possible resistance around the region of maybe 520. Next level to look out for will be 560, followed by next level 640. Okay, all right. All right, any question? Let me just check. Okay, that we are done for the Autobox. Easy, right? Any questions so far? Okay, good. All right, no question. Let me just continue on. Okay, now next, the next major problem that a lot of people, when you're trading, they don't know how to identify trend. Okay, they don't know whether it is uptrend or downtrend. And sometimes, right, then we have an argument. Okay, why is it so? We call our friends. The friends say, hey, look, this is up. They say, no, recent is down. Okay, how do you reconcile this? Okay, actually, both of them might be right. Right, it's just that they're looking at different time frame. Okay, that becomes very, very confusing. Okay, then next would be why is it that sometimes when you look at a certain stocks, it will explode upwards? Why is it the one that you bought in or you traded, right, always move very slow? Okay, so there is a reason, and one of the reasons is this concept called momentum. Okay, how do we make sure that we trade, okay, or we hit on the best momentum stocks? All right, so what are the things that we are looking at? All right, so this part will handle this. Okay, now what is momentum? Think of momentum like the energy that's being stored, okay, in a stock. Okay, so for example, think of yourself as pulling a rubber band. Right, so when you stretch a rubber band further and further away, all right, when you snap back, all right, the longer that you stretch, the more painful that you will get, right, if you snap back and then hit you. Correct or wrong? All right, so this is the understanding of momentum. What we wanted to do, right, is that if you want to catch that explosive movement, we want to make sure the point that we trade in, it's going to give us that explosive snapback. Okay, now with this, let's try to understand the concept of momentum, all right, broadly in terms of trading system. I know that this is, wow, this is huge, right? Like we're talking about trading system, okay? But broadly, there are two types of trading system, okay? One would be what we call trend following, meaning that if the trend is up, all right, you would be buying, okay? So at this point here, if you realize that overall trend is up, right? you will want to buy it, okay, every time it comes to a mean point, okay, which is average price or the best price to buy. You want to follow the trend, okay. However, there's another broad type of system which is called the mean reversion. It means that when price move too far away from that average price, the mean price here, then people might want to temporarily sell it because then it's overstretched already. All right, price movement is overstretched. Very likely it's going to snap back to the mean. Okay, so people will be looking to trade, for example, a sell here, all right, on the mean reversion trade in still an uptrend. Okay, so there are many different ways to trade that. All right. However, when we are trading, so there are a lot of problems that we can face. Okay, why is it? We cannot see the trend. We don't know what's the trend, even though we understand that they are trend following and they are mean reversion. Okay, so once we see the trend already, we don't know where to start trading because then you cannot find the support resistance. Where is the best place to sell or the best place to buy? The worst thing is that, as I explained, sometimes one time frame can be going up. Let's say, for example, the week, right, time frame, okay, the week, okay, can be moving up, but then the day kept going down. That means the day chart, you keep on seeing that it's going down. Your friends say, hey, the week is up, let's buy, all right? But, you know, how come if the week is up, right, and then you bought here, somewhere around here, and then it kept dropping, all right, until the point, right, you decided to give up. Give up means that you decided to take loss. And the moment that you took your losses, you will just book up. Anybody tried that before? Don't tell me you don't have. Okay, if you don't have, that's very good. All right. Okay. So therefore, the problem is that, you know, when you are trading, all right, many things will happen. Okay. So what we and it happens, right? Don't be all the time. Okay. We try to avoid that this time. Okay, we try to avoid that with this. All right, I can't say you totally eradicate, but we try to avoid most of the time. Okay, so therefore you only see when it has moved after a period of time. Okay, so coming back, right, to momentum and coming back to trading DRC and to use DRC as a tool. Wow, the very strong message that I want to bring forth, right, is not to use the DRC only in intraday or short term. Okay, is that we need to make sure that the underlying is going to have an explosive movement, possible explosive movement, which means that what we want to trade in is we want to trade to make sure that around here is the entry price, okay, so that it can explode upwards. Okay, so that's really the objective of many trading systems, and as well as the key thing to trade successfully with DRC. Okay, all right, key thing to trade successfully with DRC as well as any form of trading system, especially with the use of DRC. All right, now with this, I want to introduce this concept called linear regression channel. Well, it's not tough. Okay, we don't need to know any math. Okay, people are scared. All right, and I will explain it easily for you, right? Because I've already incorporated that already nicely for you. Okay, now what is linear regression? What is linear regression? So basically, we have a lot of price point. Okay, so we call this, okay, all these are possible potential price points. See this as a closing price. Okay, so this axis here will be time. Okay, as time progresses. All right, and the Y here would be your price. Okay, so price, right? So see it as that as price progresses, there's a lot of price point that's being made. Okay, and what the linear regression attempt to do is that along this possible price point that has been made here, right? They try to go and find the best fit line. Okay, that means that they try to go and extrapolate a line that can best fit all this point here so that we can come up with this very nice line that can be used to predict the future. Okay, so this is from statistic point of view, the use of linear regression. Okay, and it gets very popular with a lot of projects that I've worked on, I'm working, all right, especially with the big guys. Okay. And a lot of them are moving in the regression models. all right, okay, to predict future prices, okay, or to trade along, or to utilize, or to benefit, right, statistic into their trading system, okay. Okay, next one. All right, now therefore, what I did, right, is that in the trading view, you're going to have this linear regression channel that you can just put it in. Okay, now I would in the video again, all right, you would know where to find them, what to put in, and what to configure. Okay, so I've configured nicely for you here already. I put it in, all right. I'm just going to show you how to use it in terms of application. The setting up, that would be in the video. So we can view that video, all right. You can know how to set up, okay. All right, so this is the linear regression. Now, what is the use of linear regression? Number one, okay, just going to introduce slowly. We have this linear regression line, okay. Now, this linear regression line, what does it, as I explained now, is the best fit price, right? Now, this linear regression line, what it does is that it is used to determine the direction of trend, meaning that with just a line and a channel, you can easily see what is the current trend in different time frame. That means that just by switching like that, right, easily you can understand the trend. Okay, as I explained, right, most of the system that I use are mostly semi or automated, right, because this save a lot of time. When you save a lot of time, you have the, you have the time to go and do what you want. Okay, so we cannot be just fixed, right, on the screen to keep on looking at prices to trade. This is not how we live. Okay, how I function as a person trading. And this is also the reason I can trade into different markets, okay, different instrument. All right, now next is that in this regression line, we're going to run a line that's parallel to the regression line, all right, on a standard deviation. So we have an upper line and then we have a lower line. Okay, so that's how all these lines came about. Okay, here we go. Now, first, this is the regression line, right? So this is the regression, linear regression line, LRL. All right, so that's on top would be the upper channel. All right, the one that's below would be the lower channel, and they are being set 2 deviations apart. Okay, now how to use that? For example, again, focus that this is a weekly chart. So for example, the week, right, the weekly chart of Tencent is showing that based on the linear regression, this is uptrend or downtrend based on the linear regression. Answer me in the chat. I just want to make sure that you guys know. Okay, up, right? You can see easily, very clearly, this is an up, okay, based on linear regression, right? So what it said is that if this is up, there are few points to buy, okay? One is that when price move to that linear regression as a place to buy, okay? Right, so that's the first thing. Okay, now second thing is that, remember I talked about the story of that rubber band being overstretched. So when you stretch too far from one place, right, then you will have to snap back. Why? Because then if it breaks, then it will snap. Okay, it will return to its mean. All right. So therefore, when it's at the top of that regression line, okay, 2 standard deviation away, so this becomes a sell opportunity. Okay, just remember, even if it's up, right, when it's overstretched, it becomes a sell opportunity, and we call this a mean reversion trade. Okay, now next up, if it's up and then it is at the bottom of the channel, right, bottom of this channel here, then that's represent a buy opportunity. Okay, meaning that, for example, generally it is up. What linear regression channel does is that based on this mean point that's being projected, they calculated that this place is at 2 standard deviation from the mean, and then some people might be looking at it as an up. Okay, so it goes like this. If it goes up, all right, gonna hit this linear regression line, then we're gonna see these as a resistance. Okay, but in case that it goes up, and when it comes back down, so this becomes a support to buy. When it goes up, okay, and then it's going to hit the top of the channel, we'll be looking at this as sell. Okay, all right. Then after that, if it's going to come back down, for example, all right, then we're going to be looking at this as a buy. Okay, all right. So a few questions here. How do we determine the SD? SD is automatically calculated. depending on the fixed ratio. So I won't cover the mathematical, okay, SD as standard deviation. So today I will not cover any of how this indicator is being created. I will only talk about the use of it, okay, all right. Now, what is the time period that you use to plot linear regression? So this one I will cover in a strategy that I prescribed for you guys to trade DLC. We're going to use it in the week and the day. So there will be specific method or ways to use it, all right? Okay, how is the LRC different from the Bollinger Band? Okay, now Bollinger Band sticks more nicely to the price itself. Okay, Bollinger Band also works on a standard deviation. The only problem is that, right, Bollinger Band, because by sticking very closely with price, it is not able to tell you that extreme levels, okay, all right. But later on in part 2, session 2, we're going to add in Bollinger Band, okay, so they complement each other, all right. So rather than ask how different, we're going to ask question like, how can we make the Bollinger Band, all right, increase our chance of winning, okay. Can we say that the upper and bottom line is support and resistance? Yes, all right. Or rather, say in this manner is because of a lot of automations, all right. A lot of main system have been, sorry, just get my lights. Okay. A lot of main system have been programmed with this extreme deviation, all right, to suggest what is value, okay, value, all right. So for example, a lot of systems probably might have identified that the overall trend of this is up, okay, and then this represent mathematically of a value, all right, okay. Okay, good. So we are good for here. Let me just continue. Okay, now, next, the best way to trade linear regression is to combine what we call multiple time frame. Okay, all right. So this will address the issue of time frame usage. Okay, so what we want to do to make sure we can find the explosive movement, all right, is that, you know, what I did is I come in with a fixed formula for you, right? So this fixed formula is going to let you find a certain style of trades. It's not going to let you find all, right? Remember, is that when we do training, I try to box it up also. I try to take you from something that's easy to understand, and then we slowly progress from there, all right? So therefore, with the linear regression, right, we're going to use certain ways. Okay, one of the way is that we're going to go to the weekly time frame to identify the linear regression. We're going to see whether it is uptrend by looking at the chart. So if it's an uptrend, we will only buy when it is near to the lower channel line in a day. Okay, so this one will address the time frame. All right. Okay, so let me just repeat that. Let's say, for example, in a weekly chart, this is the week, right? So it's generally uptrend. Okay, we know that the linear regression is pointing up, but we will go to the day, all right, which is the lower time frame, to be buying near to the low of the channel here. Okay, now likewise, when we are looking to short, which is to sell, okay, then we are also going to the week to identify the downtrend. That means that overall the linear regression is pointing down in the week. Okay, then what we do is that we go to the day and we attempt to sell at the upper channel here, okay, in a day. All right. Okay. Doesn't matter if you don't understand and then you cannot remember too much, right? Then it will be reinforced later on. Okay. Now let's continue. Now, so this is the linear regression of Tencent at the low of the channel. Okay, low of the channel. All right. So this is the low of the channel here. So we know that this trend is up, and then at the low of the channel. All right. So the trend is up, is low of the channel. Potentially we might be looking to buy. Okay, now next is that, of course, we don't forget what we do with Autobox. Okay, we need to go and look at it now. So because the weekly trend based on linear regression is up, so for Tencent we are looking to buy. Okay, Now, next is that we will go to the day. We'll go to the day. So this is the day here. All right, we'll go to the day. And then we will look at the linear regression again. Okay, that means we won't change our setting. The linear regression will change, all right, based on the trend here, based on the current trend here. All right, then we go to the day, and then we'll be looking at a price near to the bottom, the low of the channel to buy in. Okay, now think in terms of this, right? Think that if the wick has been going up, that means the linear regression is up. Now, what this means is that the wick are ever, let's say, for example, this is the stocks, and it moved from $1 to $10. Okay, and then it formed a wick linear regression that is pointing up. All right, whatever reason, what's the previous price, we don't know. We just know that the linear regression is up, and then the stock has moved from 1 to 10. Okay, now what many people will be looking at is that at 10, what do? They want to take profit because they bought one already, right? Okay, fine. Now then a lot of people will be waiting for what? Will be waiting for it to come down because they remember ever that these stocks was 1, okay, and it ever moved to 10, right? So I want to wait for a discount to buy. Okay, what is the discount? What does a discount looks like? A discount will look like, for example, when you buy, let's say you go on a sale, right? And sometimes there's certain things that you don't buy, okay? But when there's a 60%, went inside the shop to buy, correct? So this type of discount means that it's going to come into a good price based on the prediction of the linear regression, all right? Based on its standard deviation measurement. Sorry, I didn't draw the line proportionally. All right, then in the week we will be able to identify this place as a place to buy. Okay, in the week. Now, what do we do then? Now, in order for price in the week, right, to come down to a discounted price, let's say, for example, the discounted price is $5. In order for that from $10 to come down to $5, right, what must price do? Price must drop, isn't it? Okay, only when price has dropped, then there will be a discount for you. If it never drop, how can you get a discount? Okay, so that's where the lower time frame will have to come down. Okay, will have to drop to the point where mathematically it is at a best place for you to consider to buy. Okay, so you are buying at the low of the regression. All right, but at this point here, this was the high of the week. That means that this point here was the low of the week, but the week is actually going up. But you're just buying at the low point when the week is heading upwards. Okay, so this is how we reconcile different time frame. That means on the week, it must be up. So in terms of how Tencent is looking at this point of time, okay, Tencent is at the week chart, is located here, right? So let me just point to you again. All right, the Tencent chart, okay, go up. Oops, my hand is still on. Go up, right? So Tencent was here, all right, on the week. Okay, it's at the uptrend, the best point to buy because it's at the low, all right, the low of the channel. But in order for price to come inside here as a buy, then price will have to drop. Okay, so what we are doing is that the week is up, the week is up. Okay, then what happened to the day? The day, all right, is at the low. So this becomes the best combination for a buy. Okay. The question is that it might not come down to the RRC low, okay, and it could be 1/3 and it starts to go up. So not always true. Right, that's why I say that in my training, I prefer to box it up for you. All right, I said before just now that this method will not cover all the strategy, okay, all the setup. But what it does is that it does help you find, all right, a certain type of trades, and especially for trades that explode upwards. Okay, all right. Okay, how to set up LRC? Same thing, you have to look at the video. Right, so the video, I would have to show it to you, the link. Okay. All right, try to ask me in the chat box because I'm actually viewing only in the chat box. Tencent weekly chart has dropped many weeks. How do we know it is a reversion? How do you know that it has reversed upwards, right? Okay, then we need to know. Then we need to know that the day, all right, has reaction at the low of the channel and bounce up. Okay, so let me just give you that formula here. So the summary is that, let's say, for example, you want to buy. Okay, the best way to approach, let me just talk about that. As I explained, there are so many different setups. They are the trend following, they are the mean reversion. All right, so what I'm trying to do here, I'm only trying to understand one thing. You always want to trade in line with the trend, which is the weekly trend, okay, the higher time frame. That's the first thing. Second thing is that you want to have that explosion. So in order to have that explosion, you need to make sure that the two time frame can align together. Okay, it's tough, but then using a simple formula, you want to buy when the weekly chart is uptrend. Okay, when the weekly chart is uptrend, next, right, you buy when the price is near to the lower channel line in the day. All right, and then at the same time, you want to make sure that price is near to the support. Okay, so we identify that support with the Autobox, and then we're going to buy with a buy trigger. Okay, a buy trigger means that, you know, again, that I've assumed that you understand a little bit. So a buy trigger can appear in the form of a bullish candles or some bullish chart pattern. Okay, so, or for example, price can break above a resistance level. So that is equal to a buy trigger. So the whole idea is that you're going to make sure that price is uptrend, okay, based on the regression channel. You wait for price to come down to the low of the regression channel, all right, and you make sure that there's plenty of support with the Autobox at the place of that lower channel line, all right, and a buy trigger happens. So these are the three things you look out for. First, you look for a trend in the week, all right. Next, you look for a lower channel in the day, and of course, then you look for support, and then you put in a buy trigger. That can happen in terms of candlestick, or it can happen in terms of a chart pattern. Okay, just give me a while. Okay, good. All right, now next, what is a sell? A sell is when the weekly trend is down. So we're looking for a weekly trend down, and we look to sell when price is at the upper line in the day, upper channel line in the day, right? That means it's at the top. Okay, price is near to a resistance, and then we are looking at a sell trigger. Okay, now one of the comment is on hindsight, it's easy to say. That's why we start the $1,000 challenge. All right, so we're going to use this method and look at some of the trades that I did, and all these trades are all being covered in some of my other lessons. Okay, so they're all being said before it moved. Okay, like recently I also talked about Wilma. Wilma at a low of 430, yeah, 430, 432 or 435. Right now, Wilma today is 450 already. Okay, so if most people use LRL, they will trade the same price. I would think so, but I really think that the regression channel regression model hasn't been channeled to the mass yet. Although we see a lot of programming needs, right? And a lot of modelings from the big guys. Okay. All right, now let's go. So you know the method. I'm just going to apply the method to choose the DLC. Okay. So before I choose the DLC, I want to talk about DLC. Just a brief understanding. How many of you are trading or have traded DLC already? Okay. Not many. 3 out of 200 people. Good. All right, doesn't matter. Don't worry, no worries. I'm just going to take you through easily, quick, slowly, in detail, so that you understand how to use them. Okay. All right, now DLC, the long form is called Daily Leverage Certificates. All right, now why is it important to understand this word here? Because it is like a piece of paper, okay, between you and the issuer. So in this case, for DLC, the issuer is SocGen. All right, so SocGen issue a piece of paper and say that, okay, we make an agreement. All right, in this agreement, you are able to trade using a portion of money, small amount of money. Okay, so therefore you look at my chart here, right? If we are looking at Tencent as the underlying, which is the stock that this DLC is based on, all right, the amount that you pay for the DLC, it's a small little circle. So it's a fraction of the underlying, all right? Okay, and they said, okay, this piece of paper, I'm going to put in a certain leverage, meaning that because then the amount is very small as compared to the underlying. Okay, we're going to give you a certain leverage, all right, so that if the DLC move, then it can move under this leverage factor. Okay, however, all right, if we say that, let's say the underlying is up and you bought the DLC, right? Okay, now with this leverage factor, your win would be blown up leverage. Likewise, let's say you bought into this DLC, all right, but the underlying is dropping, then your win will be also, your losses will also be blown up. Okay, see leverage as a good thing, all right, but then you need to know the risk involved. Okay, so that's the first thing you need to know about DLC. All right, now second thing is the concept of long, all right, versus short. Okay, now see long as equal to buy. Okay, see short as equal to sell. But however, for the DLC, I don't want you to look at it this way. Okay, now what I wanted you to see it as a long as that in the future, you long something so that in the future you think that it's going to go up. It's going to go up here. Okay, so you see long as in the future it is going to move up. Okay, you see short as in the future you think that it is going to be bearish, then it's going to go down. Okay, so see long as something that is going to be bullish, see short as something that is going to be bearish. Okay, don't use the word buy or sell. Okay, just long or short. Long or short, in the future it can go up, so it's you are bullish. Okay, short means that in the future it will come down, you are bearish. All right, now let's say for example, if I think that Tencent is going to go up in the future, okay, which DLC do I want to choose, long or short? Go up in the future. Okay, long, right? Okay, if I see that Tencent is going to go down in the future, then which DLC must I choose? The short. Yes, correct. So depending on the direction we want, okay, whether it's going to go up or go down, we would buy that DLC. Okay, we buy that DLC. All right, so for example, I think that in the future it's going to go up, so I buy a long DLC. Okay, in the future it's going to go down, I will buy a short DLC. Okay, so you always buy something. Okay, you buy a piece of paper, that piece of paper say, I want a short DLC, I want to buy a short DLC because I think that in the future it's going to go down. Okay, so you always buy. Okay, now next, let's say you buy the long DLC and you make a profit. That means that you bought something, right? You make a profit. So how do you lock in the money? Okay, how do you lock in this DLC? Okay, what do? You will sell it, exactly. So let's say, for example, you bought already a long DLC and you want to lock in the profit, right? So I have to sell my DLC. Okay, so that's easy as that. You buy something and you don't want that anymore, you will sell. All right, so let's say, for example, I buy a short DLC because I think that in the future it's going to come down. Okay, and it really, really moves down. All right, so therefore, what do I do then? Okay, how do I take profit? How do I lock in the money? Okay, I would have to sell as well. Okay, so you just have to address the question. All right, if the underlying is going to go up in the future, bullish, I will choose a long DLC. Okay, and I'll buy it. All right, and take profit, I will just sell it. Think of this as +1. To neutralize it, you go at -1 here. Okay, now let's say, for example, if you think that Tencent is going to go down in the future, then what do? You never go and sell the long DLC. You will go and buy a short DLC. And if Tencent continue to go down, right? Okay, what do you do then? Then your DLC will increase in value if Tencent continue to go down. Okay, so when you want to lock in your profit, all right, then you will have to sell that DLC that you bought. Okay, yes, correct. All right, okay. So to answer the question of how is it different from this one, you understand, because I want to make sure that you understand this one, because most of the time when I cover in SGX, right, this part is being quickly brought, quickly covered. It's not in detail. So I realized that actually a lot of people are confused. Okay, so I prefer to take it slowly to explain to you. All right, so here you go. So this is a DLC table, which is published in SocGen, which is the issuer, comparing the different instruments, all right, to DLC. Okay, all right. Now I need you to understand the pro and cons. Not because today it's a lesson on DLC. I'm going to say that okay, this is good. Not because that I'm trading on also other instrument. I'm going to say DLC is bad. Okay, what I wanted to do is I wanted to give you that neutral point as myself who is trading to let you understand how to use this tool to your advantage. Okay, so I'm not saying that futures is bad, because you guys know that I'm also doing futures training and trading. Okay, so there is a use for each product. The only thing I'm not doing is structured warrants. Okay, because my brain is so small that I don't understand. All right, but I'm doing this, I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this. Okay, but each of them has it benefit. Okay, and one of the things that I want to bring out is this maximum loss here. Okay, now DLC, your maximum loss will be equal to the initial capital. Let's say, for example, I spend $1,000 to buy a DLC, and how much can I lose? Maximum, that would be $1,000. Okay, so this is the key thing of DLC that you have to consider, which means that by knowing this, right, there are certain applications that you want to use the DLC, such as not only for swing or short-term trades, not only for intraday, you might want to consider to use it before or pre-earnings results. Okay, all right, so that's personally what I'm doing as well. So instead of buying into the stocks, you might want to use it during just a few days or about 1 or 2 weeks, right, before earnings results. Okay, because your maximum loss is equal to your initial capital. Okay, fees later I will talk about it. Okay, so then the DLC is also useful, okay, for hedging. For me, right, okay, I personally don't use it for hedging. I use it for speculative move. Okay, all right, because then it's because of my portfolio. That's why I use it for the speculative short-term swing trade move. Okay, all right, so different people use it differently, but based on what I'm going to teach you today as in the method, so it is good that if you're going to use it for the swing and short-term trade to make sure you get that explosive movement. Okay, all right. Yes, the broker will charge a commission on top of the fees charged by SocGen. All right, so let me just talk about the fees later on. Okay, all right. So remember, it doesn't have, it's exchange traded. There's no risk or margin call, because what you're going to lose, right, will be your initial capital, your maximum loss. Okay. There's no decay or implied volatility, but take note, there is this function, this feature called expiry. So it's going to expire. Okay, but it has a longer duration. All right, and then there will be a last trading day, and lastly, it has this compounding effects. Okay, and it's leverage. All right. Okay, let's talk about next one here. Okay, self-reading. All right, so in the SocGen website, which I've included as well, I need you guys to go and read it. Okay, as a first thing, because due to the limitation of time, I've decided to focus on the critical part of choosing DLC. Okay, I hope that maybe perhaps, right, they can have one more section which allows me to talk about the more the more difficult concept, right? Which is not, I won't say it's difficult, but a little bit more in-depth, right? Discussion about this compounding effect. Okay, now this compounding effect is unique to the DLC, and later on I'll be showing you a tool to automatically calculate this compounding effect. Okay, but you have to understand is that the DLC is based on the intrinsic close of the previous day DLC prices and underlying, so therefore it's going to have a compounding effect. Okay, you're going to see less of this compounding effect if you can get into the explosive movement. All right, and the second thing of this is the airbag mechanism. Okay, so this one I will just highlight slightly, but they are available in the website, and I hope that I can talk about it if I have time. Okay, all right, now let's talk about DLC here. See, for example, right, you want to trade the DLC. Okay, so you will go to SocGen website. All right, you have to go there, no choice, because that's where all the information is there. All right, you go to SocGen website, and then in that website, you're going to go to this place that's called product. All right, just click on product. It's on the top tab, it's there. All right, just click on that product, and then you're going to come to this page here where it shows you the underlying. That means you click on it, then there will be all these underlying stocks that they offer. Many of them are Hong Kong stocks. So for example, if you like to use Sing dollar, SGD, all right, to be involved in Hong Kong stock without converting to Hong Kong dollars, then using DLC is one of the advantage. Okay, all right. Okay, next is that when you go into this page here, you're going to come into this place that I've attached. Okay, so a few things. Number one, you're going to have this star here. Okay, now this star here will identify those DLC which are most sensitive, all right, according to the different listing. Okay, so for example, let's say you talk about Alibaba. All right, they're going to have the short DLC. Okay, let me just go that, right? Alibaba, they're going to have this short DLC. All right, and then they're going to have this long DLC, right? Now, within the short DLC, there can be multiple choices, different options. Okay, later I'll show it to you. Okay, then within that many choices, we can determine which one is the most sensitive, and then SocGen will let you know which is the most sensitive. Okay, now why is it important to identify the most sensitive? Because then this sensitivity will let you know that, for example, if the underlying move by this amount, okay, such as for example, Alibaba moved by 0.098 Hong Kong dollar. All right, then theoretically, the price of the DLC would move by 1 tick. Okay, how much is 1 tick depends on the price of the DLC. There are different tiers. Okay, we just keep it to 1 tick only. Okay, now so now the summary is, okay, the lower the better, meaning that let's say for example I have 2 Alibaba. I want to choose which one. Okay, look at the sensitivity, look at the star. All right, you choose the one that's the lower the better. Why is that so? The lower means that, right, let's say for example I have one which is 0.09. Would it be easier if I just round it up to 10? Okay, so every 10 cents of movement in Alibaba will result in 1 tick of a movement in the DLC. Okay, now versus the other one that says that 0.50, which is the sensitivity. What does this mean? It means that Alibaba will have to move 0.5, okay, versus 0.1, right? 0.5 in order to result, okay, a movement of 1 tick. All right, the talk will end at 9. Okay, now, so if you take a look at this, then the lower the better. All right, okay, next one. Okay, now take a look at this active underlying. So this is active underlying here, right? So they have this traded value. Okay, now this traded value means that in all the SocGen DLC, what they did is that they listed down which are the DLC, all right, that is most active. Okay, now what does this mean to you? It means that people, traders, are interested in Alibaba, okay, are interested in Tencent, are interested in Hang Seng. All right, okay, and these are the most active in terms of DLC, equal to, all right, you might want to look at these stocks also, because then likely these stocks are moving. Okay, so the traded value would gives you a clue to which are the active underlying to look at. If you are a day trader, this is very important, because what matters if it's moved, okay, it must move. When it move, then at least you'll be looking at which one is that you want to focus on. You want to focus on one that can move, so can make the money today, right? Okay, so now next is this outstanding quantity. Okay, so this outstanding quantity means that because every time SocGen is issue a DLC, there is a fixed amount, okay, fixed sizing. All right, so if you see that this outstanding quantity, right, is 100%, all right, for example, this one here, right, so this is near to 100% at 80%, all right, it means that if it's ever heading to 100%, this particular DLC is sold out. So when it's sold out, you can no longer buy anymore. You can only close your DLC. Okay. All right. So some of the lower outstanding quantity could be because they are just launched. All right. So that's why not many people are holding to it. Okay. Or sometimes, right, when you see that, okay, there's a high percentage, okay, then it means that there's only probably about 38% that you can buy this particular DLC. Okay, so this one doesn't really mean a lot, but I just let you know that what are the outstanding quantity. Okay, what's matter to trading the DLC as the choice of that DLC based on the sensitivity and one more factor, and then whether the underlying can move or not. Okay, so that's more important, right? Okay, now let me just go through the DLC trading step by step, and then how I choose this DLC, which is BYD 1211 in Hong Kong. All right, just to let you know, I treat these like a diary, meaning that when I trade that, okay, I just capture what I'm thinking, and then based on what I just shared with you. Okay, so it happens first on the 29th of September. In fact, that this 29th of September, there was a session that I did with SGX. I also covered BYD, and BYD I also shared with my students in different classes, and I talk about BYD and why, etc., why we need to consider that, right? Okay, now this is BYD in terms of the weekly chart. Okay, what I did is I put in number one, the Autobox. Okay, number two, I put in the linear regression channel. Okay, I covered this up, okay, because then when I extracted this chart, price has already moved. Okay, but the rest of the chart are something that hasn't moved yet. That's why I kept on extracting as and when the prices move. Okay, so let's do a bit of a recap here. Number one, what is the weekly trend of BYD based on the linear regression? Up or down? Okay, you can see it clearly, right? Okay, now next is that if you take a look at the Autobox, all right, it's going to give you support and resistance. Okay, so for example here, all right, so this was a monthly resistance, and what happened to this place here? BYD moved up, and then when BYD came in around here, what happened? How do you describe this place? Is this a support or is this a resistance at this place here? Okay, and in an uptrend, all right, where price is at a support, where a previous resistance turned into support, we are considering to buy. Okay, all right, but then we are not too sure whether can buy or not. Okay, we are just considering to buy. All right, okay, good. So far, so good. All right, next is here. Okay, so what I did is that on this place here, okay, on the 29th of September, what I did is that I went to the day. Okay, so this is the day chart when I traded. All right, you can do a lot of, you can put in different things. Okay, you can put in your Fibonacci retracement, you can put in your Bollinger Band, you can do any other things, you can just put in your indicators. But what matters is that ease of seeing. Okay, now take a look at BYD where the wick was up, it's up. Okay, so the wick is up. Okay, now take a look at the boxes here. Same thing, this is a day chart, it's pointing to you that it's an impossible support. We can use very difficult concepts such as we can join the Fibonacci retracement, and our conclusion might be it is at a 62%, etc., etc. Okay, but all these requires you to draw that. But if you put in the linear regression channel, what is the linear regression channel telling you in the day time frame, up or down? The linear regression is this one. Linear regression, this one, this line. Okay, the linear regression is pointing up. All right. Okay, next up. Now, where is price right now in the linear regression? Okay, is it at the top of the channel, the upper channel, or is it at the bottom of the lower of the channel? Okay, it's the lower of the channel. So what formula do we have here? So the wick, okay, is up. All right, the day channel happens to be also pointing up. Okay, then what is the formula of that linear regression channel? All right, is that we want to buy when it's at the low of the channel based on what I've just given to you. Okay, based on the low of the channel. All right, what we needed to check is that we want to make sure the Autobox is at the support or at the resistance. At a support. Okay, all right, then next would be we needed last thing. Okay, one last thing, we needed to make sure that at this place here there is a buy trigger. Okay, that means there's a buy that's going to come in. Otherwise, if you just hit like that, then you just doom down like that. Okay, yeah. I'm just telling, it's a diary for me. So I captured this one as I plan and I go into my trading. What I did, right, is I just do a screen cap of my chart and then share it here. Okay, all right, because all these will take time to move, right? Okay, so I see these and I share it here, all right? Okay, so the price is at the below the lower line. Could it be a change of trend? I don't know. I just need to make sure that there's a reaction for it to go up. Okay. All right. Now break below the lower dotted line, usually not advisable to buy. Well, what we need to do is that this lower dotted line here, right, is an indication that is a low of the that range. Okay, and you are near to the support here, right? So what we need to do is we need to have a reaction to buy. Okay. Now a lot of retailers, a lot of people, all right, what they do is that they choose to buy here. Okay, they choose to buy here, and this is the point that, all right, the machines or the automations will be looking to sell. Okay, all right. So think of it, right, as that this is like a pair of shoes. Okay, previously that pair of shoes was $100, and then it moved up to $300. All right, and then because temporarily they're gonna have a sale, and then think of this as a sale, right? For example, to $200, but you need to have an indication to buy. Okay, all right. Okay, never mind. We just wait and see what happened. Okay, now we're gonna get into the choice of DLC. Okay, so we have this technical here. We have a lot of discussion. Very good. All right, we're gonna choose the DLC. Okay, so we're going to go into the key in that we want the DLC. So once you choose BYD, all right, you're going to pop up all these different DLC. So there will be DLC, which is the short DLC and the short DLC and the short DLC. So 3 of them. And then there will be the long DLC. There's 2 of them. Okay. And this is the code of the DLC. So if you have, let's say, your stockbroker, right, you have to key in this code here. Okay, yeah, you have to take this code and key in, and it becomes in your watch list. Okay, so take a look at, I'm looking at long, okay, I'm looking at buy, okay, I'm looking to buy a long DLC because at the support, but I'm just waiting for a clue. So what's interesting to me would be the long DLC, okay. So when you are choosing the DLC, there are two things to consider. Number one, the sensitivity, okay. Number two, the spread, okay. Usually the issuer will tell you, okay, it's the sensitivity, okay. You choose the one that is most sensitive, okay, but the unknown is that you have to handle the spread as well, okay? Now, so between the long DLC, I have this sensitivity here, 0.62 and 0.36, all right? So which one will be the more sensitive? Or which one is likely to be chosen based on sensitive only? DJFW, okay? Why? Because it takes 0.36 of the underlying, all right, to move by one tick. No, you cannot always choose a star. Okay, sometimes they choose a star, but then you realize that how come I choose a star? Then the market is not trading the star one. Okay, because then the second factor is the spread. Okay, so first we choose this one here, right? Okay. Next. Okay, so this when you click on that DLC, you click here. The one that has 0.36, you click on it, right? Okay, you will go inside here, that you're going to find all the details of the DLC. Okay, now what is important to you is that number one, you know that this is a long DLC. Number two, this is a 5 times leverage. Okay, as I explained, that DLC is leverage, so that's what you need to know. Now here is the airbag. Now what the airbag said, right, is that if the underlying at that point of time when I extracted this was about 240 plus minus average, okay? Now, it means that this airbag means that if price from 240 plus minus from the previous day close, okay, this one, if it's dropped by 15%, that means it comes to 205.84, all right, the airbag mechanism will be triggered and the DLC will stop trading for a while, okay? So this one, I handle that in if there's an opportunity to do other session, okay? Just remember that there's this airbag component, all right? But it's not important for us in our choice of DLC here. Okay, then next is that when you go further, you're going to see a few things. Number one, you're going to see this percentage spread. Okay, so this percentage spread, same thing, the lower the better, okay? Because then it means that there is a bid like buying stocks and the ask price of the DLC. All right, it means that this spread here, the smaller the spread, the better it is for you, because spread, right, means your cost of trading. So let's say, for example, I bought this DLC at 0.9, okay? And sorry, the quote of the DLC was 0.9, and then based on 10. You can, $1 here. You can see the spread here is 10 cents, okay? Now, if I buy immediately at $1, and if I want to sell it, then the next person, the next buy from me would be at 90 cents. That means immediately I'll be losing 10 cents as my spread, okay? Versus the other quote, which is B and R's as well, okay? And I said $1, and then the other one is 0.98, for example. So the spread here is 2 cents. All right, so it means that if I buy now at $1 and immediately I regret it, at least when I sell, all right, I'll be losing 2 cents here versus this one 10 cents. So therefore, the choice of DLC is not only based on sensitivity, the spread is also important. All right, the issuer would attempt and would try their best to keep the spread between the DLC, the different listed DLC, as close as possible. Okay, but then they will try, but then there are other factors that affect the percentage spread. Okay, Ken? We have to look at the DLC factor itself, DLC, okay, the DLC listing. So therefore, let's continue to take a look at this DLC at that point of time. All right, okay. So next, a lot of people are scared to trade the DLC because, okay, unlike stocks, they look at the time and the sale of the DLC, of the stocks. But when they look at the DLC, what I say, you mean that 9:43, I have this trade, then followed by 10, and then followed by 1. I have so few trades going on, okay? then are people trading DLC? Can I get out of my DLC trade if I want to? The key thing is, right, the time and sale is not important to you, okay? What is most important is that your underlying can move, because that bid and ask, right, okay, is being fulfilled. That means that volume there is being fulfilled by the market maker. Market maker means that SocGen as issuer is also the one out there to give you the liquidity. Okay, so meaning that, let's say, for example, these are actual trade, people who transacted with SocGen. But when you go into the bid and ask, SocGen will be there to provide you with that liquidity based on the spread. Okay, so even let's say, for example, I want to take a trade, but then I don't see anybody trading. If you have an opinion, right, then you can trade that, because SocGen will be there to give you that liquidity, because they are the one who issue to it. All right, so if you want to buy, they will sell to you. Okay, as long as it follows the spread. So I want to buy now, I have to buy at ask price. If I want to sell now, I have to sell at the bid price. Okay, so that's as what we are trading stocks. Okay, market depth is not important. What is important is to see DLC as a piece of paper, and that piece of paper gives you the right to tap into the movement of the underlying. So for example, I think that BYD is going to go up. So instead of buying the BYD shares, I buy into the DLC as a piece of paper, and SocGen issue me this piece of paper, and I buy the piece of paper. And when let's say BYD moves up, I will say, hey, look, SocGen, I bought this piece of paper from you. All right, and I give it to you, and then you pay me money. Okay, so that's how to look at DLC. Okay, the last trading day is important. The last trading day of that DLC is important, but usually, right, when it happens the last trading day, then they will go into the settlement. Okay, all right, so same thing, I will focus on choosing DLC today. All right, okay, so if you're interested, then feedback to SocGen, and then they can get the trainers to cover all this in depth for you. All right, so what is important is that the underlying, the mother share must move. Correct, yes, Raymond. Okay, so don't care about this bit, don't care about this time and sale. What's important is the spread and the sensitivity. Okay. Okay, very good. Now, so here I am with the DJFW. So I'm interested to know that, you know, at this point of time, what if the underlying can move? All right, what will be the theoretical pricing of DLC? So under this price matrix, remember that when I click here, later I'll show it to you live, okay? So under the SocGen website, when you click on the individual DLC, they're going to come up with this terms here, simulator, the price matrix. Okay, so price matrix, right, will gives you the theoretical pricing of a possible move, all right, of that underlying, and what will be the pricing of that DLC. Okay, it is very important, right, for those people who likes to do a limit order. So you say that, okay, I want to buy, I want to consider to trade this DLC when the underlying is at 234, okay, 234 here, right? Okay, and then the theoretical pricing will be about 0.54 or maybe 0.55. Okay, sometimes it might be a little bit off from that theoretical pricing because of the spread. So for example, it might really get to 0.549, okay, but because of the spread like 0.56, you might only be buying at 0.56. Remember, I talked about that's a spread issue here. Okay, now so you can use this price matrix to go and see which one you want to, what are the prices. So for example, if let's say BYD really moved to 262, right? Okay, my you know, the DYC might be at 93 theoretical pricings. Okay, okay, so this price matrix is also very important. All right, okay, next, 1 day later. So that was 29, right? Or 5th of October, I can't remember already. I also cannot remember when was that. Okay, fine. Here we go. So we have the BYD here, all right, near to the low of the channel. All right, so still the uptrend was intact in the week, right? We have it near to a support here, all right? And then when I pointed out that earlier chart, I think it was somewhere around here, okay? So maybe a few days later, the price is here at around 242, okay? Now what we see is that this is like a candlestick pattern, okay? What we see is that this is a bullish signal, all right? If you use a candlestick, a bullish signal on the low of the channel, all right, on a support level, and that's where I think that this will be the best place to buy. Okay, why is that so? Because I see that not every trade is going to be successful, but if I'm wrong, all right, then I probably have this level, this space here as my stop loss. Okay, but if I'm correct, then what are the possible upside based on linear regression? Can you see that? Okay. Possible upside could be near to the top of this middle line here, or even it can be up here. Okay, I don't know when I was trading, I don't know. The only thing is that I thought perhaps if I can buy at 242, for example, I aim at the top of this middle line here. Okay, the linear regression line is also in line with the box high, okay, which is a known resistance. So I might be able to earn maybe $30 from this trade. Okay, buy 242, sell at 275, that's about $30. Okay, so that was my plan then. All right, so if it ever comes down, if it ever hit down, right, then I'll be making this loss here. Okay, but just as a disclaimer, not every trade, right, I do is successful. Okay, but then there's always a plan. Okay, now if I'm lucky, then it can continue to move up to go to 320. All right, so that's my prediction. Okay, so you want to trade the DLC right now? Who wants to buy here? A very good question, Raymond. All right, do you buy at the market close or the market open for the entry? Okay, you buy near to the market close. All right, but in a way, right, sometimes I have to say this, you have to use that characteristic of the DLC. That means that your maximum loss is equal to how much you put in. Okay, all right, then you might have to just buy slightly near to 3 o'clock or maybe like 2:30, because usually the Hong Kong market, right, sort of confirm everything, right, at 3 o'clock. My experience is that for the Hong Kong market, 10 o'clock, because they opens at 9:30, by 10 or 10:30 or 11, right, the move is almost there already. Okay, how to determine TB and SL, the second session. Okay, we talk about how to select the DLC and how to trade this. Okay, all right, good. Let me see what other questions. Can we get the slide? I'm not sure though. I think you might be able to get a recording. Okay, next, okay, so we identify as the DJFW. Remember what happened to DJFW earlier? The price, when I took that for DJFW, the price was 57 when I took that. Okay, all right. Then when BYD went up to by 1.42%, all right, at 242, the DJYFW, okay, was about 67 cents. Now this one, this quote here, right, is indicative. What is more correct, right, is to key in this DJFW into your broker so you can see the live feed. Okay, all right. So whatever they're gonna see in SoChen, sometimes can be indicative. Okay, all right. So next is that DJFW. You're gonna have all this information here, as I mentioned. Now the right hand side will show you the underlying of 1211 BYD actually moved up based on the intraday chart. So for example, it opened near around here, and then after that it continued to move up. Okay, and then you can see that the price of the BYD DULC is tracking quite closely to the underlying. Okay, so therefore, for example, if you don't want to buy into BYD itself and you are very confident that okay, BYD is going to go up, then you might want to choose DLC as a replacement for the of the mother share, right? So this one is 1.7 in terms of the spread, all right, but it's the most sensitivity. are most sensitive. Okay, next one. Now take a look at here, which was the trading activity of this BYD DLC on that day. Okay, on that day when I traded this, okay, that was the movement. So at 9:30, people started to trade that 59 cents, and then 9:47 at 65. Okay, because the mother went up. Okay, and then at 10 it's about 66, and then about 1 when it opens again, about 68, 66.5. Okay, so all this has to also consider the spread. So therefore, when you choose the DLC, you have to be very confident that number one, it's going to explode. Okay, number two, right, make sure there's plenty of space for your underlying to move. Okay, when you trade something that don't have space, that spread, right, can sometimes eat up your profit. Okay, so you need to make sure you have that space. Okay, so in order to have that space, right, and that's where the linear regression gives you that perspective of a space, because you're buying near to the bottom of the channel. All right, if it ever goes up, that gives you that space. Okay, all right. So so two things to consider: the sensitivity and the spread. Okay, and then sometimes even when a more sensitive DLC, if the spread is wider than the other DLC, right, the traders might be actively trading into the one which is less sensitive, but the spread is better. Okay, all right, so as a disclaimer, so usually we choose one with a lesser value in the sensitivity. That means it's more sensitive. But sometimes, right, when the spread is much better for the other DLC, which is less sensitive, all right, the traders might choose to trade into the one which is less sensitive. But the good thing is that whether you choose this sensitivity or that sensitivity, if the underlying move, the percentage of movement, right, between the DLC will almost be similar. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you is this: while we choose that sensitivity and the spread, but sometimes as long as the underlying can go, then these two factors are not that important, although we tend to choose the one which is more sensitive. Okay, Ken? So what happened was that this is the DJFW, all right? Then the other pair that I was considering, which is the other DLC, right, was DINW. Okay, DINW, right? Small one, because I can't capture too big. Okay, at that point of time, the feed, right, was 0.08 and 0.081. Okay, so that's a very, very nice spread. All right, now look at this volume here. I know it's very small, but it's just to zoom in. Okay, 1001 and 1141. Okay, so these are the volume that's being provided by the issuer. Okay, that means that if you want to sell, there's 1100 waiting for you. If you want to buy, then there's so much the issuer can issue to that can sell to you. All right. So to me, when I was looking at it, right, I just say, hey, look, let me just try the one which is lower in value, 0.08 and 0.081 versus the one that's about 60 something cents. Okay, because sometimes, right, you just feel that, oh yeah, buying a few cents, if you go up to, let's say, 10 cent, 20 cent, right? You know that you earn a lot of money, something like that. But I assure you, the percentage of increase between the two DLC, all right, will be similar. So if this one can go up by, let's say, 30%, okay, this one can also go up, in the percentage of 30 plus minus around there. Okay, so the amount that you make in terms of percentage will be similar. It's just that DLC goes in a block of 100 units. So you buy 100 units here, it costs 680. If you buy 100 unit here, it costs $80. So when you choose the lower in value, then you might be able to vary your lot size. Okay, all right. Otherwise, you choose based on this two formula. Okay, all right. So because of after going through all this, and the spread is looking good, although the spread of the lesser one is slightly higher at 2.5 in terms of percentage. The more scientific one is 1.7, but this is 2.5, okay? But what I decided is that I want to vary the lot size, and I want to demonstrate to you, because it doesn't really matter which one you choose, all right? I actually traded on the this one here, which is the 8 cents, okay? So same thing, I'll go into the price metrics and look at that, okay? Yesterday was doing at 0.072, all right? And then if I trade somewhere around 244.6 or 242, right? Okay, 242. Okay, I might be able to queue at 0.078. Okay, I just give it a bit of a buffer, but anyway, nothing to buffer already. So perhaps I will do like 0.079. Okay, and then I can choose to trade here, which is 0.081. Or if it goes up, I want to get a little bit of a discount, then I might just place in at this place here. Okay, so I've chosen the DLC, I've chosen the price I want to buy, okay, which is around this place, because then it had a bit of a bullish signal here, which is based on the candlestick, right? Okay, then what I did is that, okay, anyway, this one, as I said, right, is not useful, okay, but people are actually trading in it, okay? So people started off with trading around, earlier was actually 0.072, and then it moved up slightly down a little bit, then 0.08, and then, you know, just hover around this price here. Okay, you can see the volume. Some people are doing 200,000 shares. Okay, the minimum trading size is 100 units, huh? So let's see, one here. Okay, but that's 1,000. Okay, so it's K. All right, so that's 1,000 they do. All right, but the minimum you can do is 100. Okay, and then some 200 is how much? 200 times 1,000. So this person probably maybe bought or sell, I'm not sure, but maybe they did like this amount here. Okay, okay, so y'all want to buy, right? Okay, so we're gonna experiment with $1,000. Okay, we are not gonna put too much money inside. We're gonna start off small. Okay, I believe in starting off small. All right, so that you can feel it, you can understand it. Okay, and then when you start off something small and experiment it, right? Then at least, you know, you feel at ease to stick to your plan. And the good thing about DLC is that you don't really need to put in a lot of money. All right, unlike you buy the underlying, okay, you need to come up with a lot of money. But DLC, no, remember, you buy only with a fraction of that underlying, and then there's a leverage issue. Okay. If you queue to sell at 0.079 and the DLC price is only 0.078, will it be 1? No, you will be filled at 0.079 first. Okay, if you are queuing to sell and you are the supplier, because people are readily going to buy at 0.079, for example, if it's available to them. Why would they want to buy higher? Okay, so you would queue to sell, because not queue to buy, right? You would be filled at 0.079. Okay. High repark order stop limit buy. You can do a limit buy. That means that, let's say, for example, you're going to buy lower, slightly lower, right? At let's say current price right now at 242, right? The theoretical pricing is 0.078. But when I bought in, right, actually it was this price here. Okay, but if you want, you can queue lower at 0.078, 0.078, or 0.079, or 0.08, for example. Okay, then you have to do a buy limit. Okay, you can't really do a buy stop limit buy. Okay. I'm not sure about the platform that you use, okay? But usually the key thing is to sort of estimate the price of the underlying and then look at the theoretical pricing, all right? Okay, here we go, $1,000. Let's talk about $1,000 here. How much BYD can you buy with $1,000? All right, so let's take a look at the price of BYD when I key in the trade as 243.8. So if you have $1,000, you buy 23 shares. Actually, you can't buy BYD with 23 shares. BYD minimum size is 500 shares. Okay, but then this is just a theoretical actual trade, but then I just assume. So therefore, you can buy 23 shares, okay? The commission charged by this particular broker for the shares upon calculation is $25, all right? So the total that you spent about $1,000, all right, to buy 23 shares, all right? But you still have to convert to Hong Kong dollar, okay? So if you buy a BYD on the ask price, then at that point of time is 0.081, okay? I can buy 10,000 units, huh? Okay, the commission charged by this broker here, take a look at this part here. I mean, it depends on broker to broker, so I can't comment too much, okay? Some brokers are charging a minimum commission, okay, fixed price commission, regardless of the trade amount. Some are charging a percentage, so you have to go and explore the brokers yourself, all right? So therefore, the commission that I paid for $810 of trade, where I was being filled on the 30th of September, all right, was around here. No, this one was the price that I was filled, and then it was around this place here, 0.081, all right? This was the price that I put in, okay? I was being filled at this price here, which is 0.081. So the average fill price and then the limit price, okay? All right, so that was my order. All right, and I did a limit buy order, and then my order time was around here. So I've been filled on this particular trade, right? On by spending $810 with the commission for this particular buy only, right? Haven't sell yet, is about 36 cents. So let's continue. So 5th October 2021. Okay, so that's the BYD was trading here. So I bought here at 243.8 here. Okay, so 5th October, I might have gotten the date wrong, right? But anyway, so that's it. When I took the chart here, so this one was around this price at 247. All right, so that's about up by about 5.4 and about 2.15%, and it's at the low of this channel here. It took some time. Okay, but I was aiming at the 275 region, 275 to 280 region, especially on this high. So that was a possible profit target. The other trade of BYD that I have, I was aiming here at the top of this channel here. All right. Okay, so let me just answer a few questions. If the issuer bid ask price is 0.076 and 0.077, can we key in to sell at 0.076? Yes, then the quote, right, would be 0.075 versus 0.076 because you are willing to sell lower than what the issuer is willing to sell. Yes, you can. What happened if I still holding the DLC when it expire? It will expire based on the theoretical price. Okay, the issuer would let you know at that particular price, and then they will do a price there, and they will calculate how much you lose, no? Because then it will be gone no more already. You can't trade that. I assume 1.7 is the spread of 0.08 and 0.079. Yes, correct. But for the lower price is 2.5%. Okay, along the way, right, it can change a little bit because 1.7, 2.5, you can't really go into the nitty-gritty to say at that point of time when they're quoting, right, then it would be that price. Okay, that spread. Okay, so just to update a little bit, right? So this was the price of the other one. Okay, it's up by 10%. All right, even so, the BYD up by only 2.15%. Okay, you see that it's up by about 10%. So this will let you know this is a times 5 multiplied by 5. Okay, all right. Next is, all right. So at that point of time, for the 0.08, you can see that not many people are trading that 0.08 BYD, but even for the one that is more sensitive, right, it starts to get a little bit dry in terms of that volume. But you can see that initially those who bought early at 0.59, if you can catch that price, if you can sell in the afternoon, you can make quite a decent profit already. So that's why a lot of people actually do the BYD, have the DLC, right, as an intraday movement. If you can catch that mother share very well, okay? So this is what I'm trying to say, all right? Okay, so the spread can sometimes get a little bit wider, okay? In fact, that the spreads get a little bit wider here, okay, when it's not really that active, all right? But what matters most is that the underlying can move. So you are not there going to look at that DLC, all right, but you must be very confident of your underlying. That means that you must have a certain commitment, right, of your trade. You can't be using DLC to just get in, get out, because sometimes the spread, right, might not be in your favor. But to me, all right, if I use my method, which I shared with you, all right, to buy at the low, if it really can explode upwards, right, you can really make like 100%, even 200%. Okay, so look at that DLC as your mean to benefit from a possible movement when you can't be trading into the mother shares. Okay, all right. So what I want to show you is that the real time in terms of capturing all this information, sometimes the spread can widen up. Even though earlier the spread was, the early few days, right, the spread was actually much closer, but sometimes it can widen up a little bit. All right, okay. So as I explained in the first part, all right, that I wanted to share with you all these things that you need to know so that you are ready for it. No, it's not that the share didn't move. Okay, the question was that at 10:53, at 10:53 here, the next one was here. It's not that the share didn't really move. It's just that the share probably flat also. All right, and then people are also not really actively trading inside here. Okay, as explained, right, a lot of activities in the Hong Kong market happens in the earlier hours. Okay, earlier hours. All right. Then slowly when it comes to the afternoon, it's sort of flat already. All right, so that's why you have to look at my activity. I get very busy in the morning because of Hong Kong market, but when then Hong Kong market is about to close, that's where I move to the Forex, for example, or you know, the indexes or the commodity. Okay. How do we choose the DLC between 3, 5, 7? Okay, in fact, that the stocks DLC is only 5 times. All right, and then the index DLC is 3, 5, and 7. So same thing, choose based on the 2 formulas I've given you, the sensitivity and then the spread. All right. Okay, so this is the progress of the one that I bought at 0.085. I also cannot remember how long this take already. Anyway, this is 5th of October. Okay, all right, and then so that's some information here. The spread percentage has changed a little bit to 2.33. Okay, and then the sensitivity is still remaining. All right, now take a look at the theoretical pricing, because the earlier yes, the one that showed to you earlier in terms of the price metrics actually had a lower price, because then BYD, the yesterday closing was slightly higher, so it just moved a little bit higher to 247. So this is around 247 here. Okay, the pricing was somewhere around here. Okay, at 0.087. You can see that it's tracked pretty much, very much to the mother underlying, because why? Take a look at this, 247, the price was 247, and then it's 0.087, right? Now, when you go up, you look at the price of that mother at that point of time, where is it? Was about 247.6 here, underlying 247.6 here, and then this was the last price traded. So it's actually very close to the underlying. So you just have to make sure you get the mother share movement correct. CDLC as a tool for you to get that exponential growth. Okay, all right. I just gave you the traded volume of that particular day for this the DLC long, all right, you can see, for example, there's some volume trading at the 0.06, and then there's some volume trading here at 0.087. Okay, so as I said, right, this is good because there's a huge gain here if you can catch the mother share properly. All right. Why DLC preferred? That's because Hong Kong can move a lot. If Hong Kong can move, let's say $5, which is very, very normal. I ever had a shares Geely, right? 175.175, the code. That day it moved up by 22%. Can you imagine the DLC? 22% on that day times 5. Okay, your DLC would be 110. Okay, so that's why a lot of people are trading into the Hong Kong market because of that huge movement. My typical holding period depends on the mother share, right? I'm not trading the DLC based on intraday, but I'm just merely, bringing out the point is that if you can handle the mother share very well, you are able to actually exit on the very same day intraday with quite a hefty profit. Likewise, as a warning, you are also going to see the losses if you get in the wrong direction. Okay, just let me continue. Answer the rest of the question later on. Okay, now next, okay, so on the 15th of October, so I started on the 30th of September. All right, so on the 15th of October, actually, I didn't look at my, I don't really stare at my trade every day because there's a plan. So if I stare at it, right, there's actually nothing much to do. Okay, so this was what happened on the 15th of October. So along the way, we bought somewhere around here, all right? Along the way, it moved up, moved down, moved up, moved down. Okay, but you have to understand, DLC, it's an instrument where it can have that explosive return, but the fixed loss, right, it's almost whatever that you put in. So I put in 810. Okay, if this one can burst up based on my technique, which is to draw in something like this channel here, like this, and then I can stand to benefit a huge space from here. So that was my trading plan. Okay, of course, then I said that, look, the overall trend is still up on the weekly side, and then I'm buying near to the support. Okay, so if I can buy near to the support, then whatever that's it would be my upside. All right, so I use the linear regression to help me, or you can use the linear regression to help you. And then if you take a look at that DLC here based on the price metrics, all right, at that during that day on the 15th of October. So this is the actual quote on the 15th of October, right? If I were to sell my DLC at 273.8, which was at the top of the channel, I'd be keying in the sell price of 0.128. Okay, so I bought at 0.081. If I can sell 0.128, I'll be making almost like a 50% return. Okay, all right. So what I did, right, is I predicted the price of DLC at that point of time. Okay, so I just give you that trading activities, okay, because that day was quite active because BYD was actually up quite substantially, all right? And then you can see a very active trading, all in the range of quite a nice spread. Take a look at the BYD, the one that we talked about initially, the one that's more expensive, all right? The one that's more expensive previously was quoting about 68 cents. Right now is quoting about 106 and 108 already. The one that I bought in was quoting at that point of time as 126 and 127. Okay, so the key thing is that because I bought a long DLC, so how do I take profit? I have to sell my long DLC. Okay, you know, if you look at the holding period, I didn't hold very long, especially for Hong Kong stocks, because if you can catch that turning point, the explosive movement, Hong Kong stocks, right, can really move very fast. Okay, and this is the advantage of DLC giving you. You spend a little bit of money to tap into that explosive movement. Okay, so to me, in my opinion, DLC is not only for intraday, but it is very ideal to trade what we call the swings. okay? And the desirable condition is to do an explosive movement. That means that a strategy that can catch at that tipping point when everything is being just squeezed nicely, and if it can burst up, that will be the best for the DLC, okay? All right. Now, so at that point of time, the quote was like that. What I did is, if you take a look at my chart just now, okay, I think, okay, I'm just going to go to the chart live later. So this was the progress of my DLC price movement. So I started off with a little bit flat, okay, then it goes up, okay, but I didn't reach my profit target. So the DLC dipped a little bit because the mother dipped a little bit, and then eventually I've actually exited at what price? 0.126, which was a theoretical pricing that I've calculated just now based on the price matrix. I think that the mother will go to 247, 274 or 275. So I put in the theoretical pricing, which is the limit price. I was filled at this price. So in terms of the transaction, right? So it took me about 15 days for this move. And then with a total realized profit of 449. The commission I paid, right, for this leg to close it was 0.57 based on this commission. And I closed that on the 15th of October at this price here. Okay. All right, then let's take a look at the table here. If you were to trade, let's say, the stocks, okay. So if you were to trade the stocks, all right, then you will be able to sell, let's say, BYD at 273, okay. And then you'll be making this gain plus the commission, blah, blah, blah. Your profit will be about $109 after spending around $1,000, okay. So that's about 11% on the capital. But if you are doing, let's say, DLC based on the realized profit here, 449. So 449 would be about 55% of that 810. Along the way, there would be compounding effects, okay? Meaning that the longer that you stay, right, then if it doesn't move fast enough, it goes flat, 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 a bit volatile. That means today you go up, the next day you go down, the day go up, next day you go down, right? Then you might not have this high percentage. So what happened to BYD was because it's actually moved quite quickly upwards. Okay. Apart from commission, is there any other charges? Yes. If you hold overnight over a period of time, then the issuer will charge you certain fees per annum. Okay. Just go to the website and then you take a look at that fees that they charge, right, per annum. But if you're really holding a short period, even for me, I'm holding like 15 days only, right? You don't really feel that fees as that most important. To me, it's insignificant. Okay, all right. Yes, you have to buy and sell through a normal share trading account, but you have to get this status, which is called SIP. That means that you can go to SGX to attend the e-learning and then get certified. It's very easy. You just have to pass the exam. Okay, the exam, it's quite easy to pass. Okay, or if you have experience that you have traded some derivative products like futures or some other trades like options, etc., you can just declare that. Then you'll be able to trade the DLC. Okay, wait. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to my, just to share a little bit of the issuer site. Just give me a minute. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is the SocGen website. You definitely need to, go to this website here. So once you enter this website, right, this is the home. Okay, so you're going to see, for example, which are the new listing and the gainers, right? Okay, go to the place which says products. Okay, but before that, this education place is where they listed all the, important information, especially how to get SIP status to be certified. Okay, now then you have to go into this product here, which I go every day, all right, to search for the underlying DLC. So you can see today, right, in terms of the traded volume, Geely short, it's highly traded. So, you will likely know that Geely probably move a little bit today. And then, for example, the Xiaomi long also moved. Okay, people are trading, and the Wilma today moved up quite nicely. So therefore, people are also trading that. Okay, Sunny, and then some Tencent and etc. Most of them are Hong Kong stocks. Okay, all right. Okay. Then next, let's say, for example, I want to go to BYD, just key in BYD. All right, then you're going to find this 1211 here. Okay, now 1211, click search. Okay, and then you're going to get that all the BYD long and short. Let's say, for example, I want to only consider long. So you don't want to have so many things listed here. Just choose the long side and then automatically just pop up the long. Okay, so that's BYD. Okay, the one that I bought was this one here. Now it's 0.176. Okay, so if I keep and I don't sell, right? Because remember I sold at 0.126. If I don't sell today, I'll be making a lot more. Okay, all right. I bought at 0.081. All right. Okay, so this is where you're gonna go to, and then you can click on it. Click on that, and then you're gonna see all the details. All right, and then the costs and fees are here. Okay, as I mentioned, they are really not that significant if you are really holding that for a shorter period of time. All right, okay, everything all listed here. Now this is the simulator. That means you can key in to say, okay, if I hold BYD, if I hold the particular BYD DLC here, and then this day, and then the next day or 11 days later, you know, based on this gain, how much is likely to be my returns. Okay, all right. Now the good thing is that the team is there to help you. All right, so now you go into this metrics here. All right, that's where you can see the prices. Now BYD at this shares, this price here, right, is 290 something, and then if we continue to go up to that 320, it's about the DLC is about 23 cents. All right, okay, good. So this is the DLC place here, and what is more important is this DLC hotline. Call them and ask them to help you, okay, in terms of things that you do not know. All right, so they have a dedicated team to help you. All right, so that's number one. My task is to teach you how to get that explosive trade. Okay, then next, what I did, right, is that in this website here, which I'm going to give it to you. All right, I've compiled a list of DLC. Okay, so I got a long list here, DLC, right? Okay, so this is the list of DLC that I'm putting in, all right, as everyday must see. Okay, so for example, this is BYD here. Okay, it's actually went up. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put in the template. So in the video, I will teach you everything. So this is a template that we've designed for you. I've designed for you. I'm just going to remove this one. Okay, so this is the linear regression template. All right, then in the week chart, all right, then we will go to the day. You're going to find that this was exactly the place that I've traded in here at near here. Okay, so I've traded somewhere around here at this place. Okay, all right, then when you move to the middle of this channel, all right, and here I put in the boxes, and I realized that it was near to the horizontal resistance. Okay, so what I did is I actually took up my trade at 273. Okay, somewhere around here. So nice moves, $30. Happy? But no, what happened was that BYD continued to go up to hit to the top of that linear regression channel. All right, so that became my second profit area, which is around here. Okay, so I sold out everything, and then I'm just waiting. Hopefully it can come back down here. So to answer the question of how to find these trades, unfortunately, it depends on whether your platform has the screener. But if you look at the list that I'm going to share with you in the downloaded site, right, that you're going to go to, all right, what I will always do, right, is that once you put in this linear regression channel, all right, then it gives you a very easy sense to spot what is happening. So for example, this is up. Okay, let's go exercise. Okay, go Tencent. Okay, generally, what is Tencent showing here? Actually, Tencent is actually on the down. Okay. All right, which means that if you can manage to get a strategy to sell near to the top here, then you'll be looking for a sell situation. All right. Then if you were to, let's say, go down here, Tencent, let's say, for example, it comes down here, for example, okay? Then of course, then you're going to ask yourself, is Tencent still up? Where? In which time frame? Okay, is Tencent still up in the weekly time frame? Okay, for example, is it still pointing upwards? All right, so you can go and then continue to scan like this one here. That's what actually I do every day. Oh yeah, this one, Hong Kong Exchange is not yet. I'll look for somewhere around here. Okay, JD. All right, JD hit the top here, then bounce off from here. Okay, it's in the middle point. I don't get a trade. Okay, then BYD, I talk about it. Then this is Meituan. So Meituan is still generally pointing down. Actually, long Meituan somewhere around here at the bottom. Okay, and of course I took up here. That's it. Okay, but it's good enough money already. All right, and then we're gonna have Sunny. Okay, Sunny are also long here. Where is it? Long here. All right, I also took up here. Okay, so this is basically what I do. That means that instead of looking at what to do, I just put in this channel, all right, which is linear regression channel. It's very, very insightful, because then you probably figure out by now that this could be a take profit area. And then on top here will be another take profit area for Sunny if you ever continue to move up, which I cover on the second session, because time is up right now. Yes, we're able to know the change of trend also. Okay, but as I said, right, today, right, I'm just going to prescribe to you what is that 1 plus A plus B equal to explosive movement. And what I prescribe to you is to use the week and the day in this manner. All right, because of the time limitation, I can't be doing a lot. So I prescribe this for you so they can do it. Okay. Yes. So how to go and get the recording? Let me just also do it right now. Just wait a while. I need you guys to go to this place here. I'm just going to send you the link, right? Go to this place here. Help me do one thing. I come to the end already. Just help me do one thing, okay? Help me do this. Help me answer a short survey, fill in the form, all right? And then there will be a Hong Kong DLC list for you to download. You can put it into a trading view, all right? There will be a lot of DLC educational links in ShortGen that you need to know. And there will be this video here. All right, 2 videos on how to configure the Autobox and the linear regression channel. Okay, so when you go inside the website, this is how it goes. Like this one here. Okay, click here. All right, it's going to come to this page, right? I need a help from you. I need some feedback. I need to know that this course is going to help you. All right. Done. Okay, so I go done. Okay, and then I want to know whether you have traded DLC before. Then next, right, I need to know whether you have traded another financial before. All right, I need to know, would you consider trading the DLC or using the DLC in the future after you have attended this course, part of this course only. All right, and then once you fill it in, right, then there will be a form for you. Okay, all right, there will be a form for you. Because I never fill in. And after that, you can fill in the name, and then an email will be automatically sent to you. All right. Okay. Please help me fill in so that you can know how to set up all this. But it's actually very simple. All right. So just go into the trading view. All right. Under the indicator. Just quickly do that. Right. Key in multi time period chart. Okay. So that's the first indicator, which gives you the Autobox. Second, just key in linear regression channel. Okay, then you get it set up already. Okay, all right. Okay, let me just answer some of your questions first. Will you share the recording video? I think yes. Can set the DLC in trading view, LRL, linear regression? Yes. Wait, if the trend still up for most counter or expect price to come down, is the trend still up for most counter? I think that's a general question. Let's try to go for another one more $1,000 challenge and see what trades have you chosen. Okay, master linear regression trend in week be the same as the day regression in order to take the trade. Well, the whole idea is that formula, right? I want to buy when week is up. Okay, when a week is up, I want to buy, right? This one here, buy. And I want to buy when the day is at the low of the channel. Okay, just give you, for example, quickly, Sunny I also covered before. The week is up or down. Okay, the week is up and the week is near to the low of the weekly channel. Agree? Can? So at this point here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark it down. All right, then you go to the day. All right, then that is near to this channel here, the low of that linear regression. Okay, then after that, put in your Autobox. You will figure out that it was a resistance, become a support here, and it's at the low of the channel. Then you want to look for a trigger to buy in. All right. Can you use for US stocks? The answer is yes. Okay. How about change of trend? How do you identify it? Let me just do it on the second session. So remember to attend the second session. How do you screen for this one? I answered already. How long does a DLC last? DLC will last. There's an expiry date though. Okay, so it's actually here. When you have this terms here, right? They have this issue quantity, listing date, and last trading date and expiry date. So this one is a 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. Do institutional investors invest in DLC? I'm not sure though. Maybe I have to ask Marcus. Maybe I ask this question to him later on. Maybe I ask him to tell you guys. Marcus, he always talk about DLCs from SocGen. Does this only apply to DLC? You mean the method? No. What we are interested is to find any explosive trades. Okay, you can apply that in Singapore stocks, but I'm trying to tell you that DLC is one instrument that you might or you can consider due to this unique offering. Okay, you have to use it to your advantage. All right. So let's say, for example, you want to buy BYD, but you have to buy 500 shares. 500 shares times 243. So it's going to be a lot. So we can use it to replace with DLC. For my method, usually the volume will not come in yet. Usually for volume, right, is a breakout trade. So to me, I consider that too low. Okay, second thing, right, you don't want the volume to come in yet, right? Because if you buy when everybody knows about it, when the volume comes in, right, your DLC is going to get very expensive. Okay, so when the movement turns the other side, you're going to be a huge loss. Okay, so what you want is to catch that moment before it explodes upwards. Can share what to search. Okay, go and download this one. Go and do this, and then you can download that email already. All right, most of you guys do it. Okay, if not, then you just contact me, and then I'll let you know. Okay, multiple time period chart. L linear regression. Okay, for futures, right, it's a little bit tough because linear regression use a length of time, and then the futures contract will expire every month. So therefore, we have to use it differently. Okay, yeah, Autobox also in the video. Where's the video link? It's sent to you via an email. Okay, you should check that for email. Should you buy a longer term DLC? No, the consideration is on the sensitivity and the spread. But again, let's say if the DLC, right, is going to expire 3 months later or 2 months later, okay, you might because of this consider the longer expiry date DLC, because 2 months, sometimes you might not be able to get out of the position. So in this case, let's say, for example, only left 3 months, then I want to choose the longer period DLC. Does the issuer return the balance cash based on the closing price if you do not sell at expiry? Or is it become zero value and lost all the capital? I will just pass this one to Marcus, because I haven't encountered this situation yet. I haven't encountered the airbag. Luckily, I don't need to do that. And then this one I have not encountered. Share a video. Please let InvestingNote. Ethan will take note of that. Please go and complete the survey. Linear regression can be used to trade shares. Yes, you can. How can Malaysian open account? Marcus, are you around?
Marcus not here.
Marcus not here, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. How can Malaysian open a trading account? You have to open from your broker, if I'm not wrong. How to pass SIP? I have to find out for you. Okay, DLC expiry date cannot be extended. DLC expiry date is based on the issue. What they will do is that once it has expired or going to expire, they will launch a new one. Okay. Let me just see how many questions I need to get that answered. Okay, I will just screen cap that, and then I'll probably just ask Marcus. I think that next round he should be around. All right, because today he has also have another DLC trading session. If you want to know what stocks DLC I'm looking at, you can attend the SGX trading hours conducted by myself. But then just fill in the form, because sometimes I do update my students on what shares to look at. For example, I did for my futures class on Wilma. Guys, do you do, for my futures class, do you do Wilma? Okay. BYD I also shared with them. Okay. I don't do options actively because Binni is known to sleep at 10:30. Because I have a very long time already. Starts at 6 and then I trade many things, Yeah, I do US stocks, but I don't trade options. Okay. Is DLC available on local brokers like Poyam, Lim and Tan? Yes, they are like traded in stocks. Okay, go and find out from your brokers. They are traded like stocks. All right. But the price would change. Okay, the price would change. Yes, my FB is Terracits, but I'm not very active there. Okay, I'm more active in the Alien Room. Okay, which is something that I created, which is called Alien Watch. How Malaysian can trade? Let me just get back to you on the next round. Finish the course first lah. Don't need to sign up as my student. Finish the course first. Is the strategy valid for HSI and Hang Seng Tech? Yes. Okay. I actually did this for Hang Seng Tech also, HSI as well. Can I complain to Tiger in-house rule max 150K shares? Okay, you can. Okay, let me see what other questions you have. I will just answer the question until 9:20. Okay, so that all of us can go to sleep already, including Ethan. Remember to attend the next session. Fill in the survey form. Let me just flash that survey form. Okay, what screen am I sharing? I also have no idea already. Okay, here we go. Okay, survey form is here. This one. Okay, I think I answered most of the questions, right? So remember to fill in this survey form, just flash it for a while and then pass the time to Ethan. Okay, thanks a lot, Ethan.
All right, thanks, Binni. Thank you, everybody. There's wonderful questions, all very valid, right? So I hope most of the questions were being answered, right? So of course, fill up the survey form, and for the link of today's webinar, it will be actually on our YouTube. So we'll be sending up a follow-up email to you on this webinar link. Don't have to worry about it. So the next session will be on the 11th of November, which is next Thursday, if I'm not wrong. So that will be second session. So you guys don't have to do anything. The link for that will be sent to you as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Ethan, I have something to add. I think Marcus just messaged me, I think. So on the expiry of an SIP question, you can just go to the DLC website under educational channel. Malaysian can trade via Tigers brokers and Futu securities. Okay, so under this educational tab here, all right, everything is all under here. I believe so. Yes, correct. Under this education, I actually gave you guys this link, right, in the email as well. Okay, all right. Okay.
Okay.
That's all, Ethan.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a great night. Right. So we'll see you at the second session. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Hope
Bye-bye.
you guys like the session. Thank you, Binni. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.